Hello, my crafty friend, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's very special junk journal flip through video. This chunky little beauty that you see before you is one of the most magnificent journals I've ever had the pleasure of holding. It has such beautiful vintage doilies making up the wrap cover, and this gorgeous kind of guitar strap looking trim making up the closure with this beautiful vintage button. This beauty was not made by me. This beauty is the first swap journal I've ever received, and it was made by the lovely and talented Martina of Magnolia Fairytale. So she and I are doing a swap. As soon as she receives the book that I made for her, I will publish the flip through that I've made of that. But in the meantime, I couldn't wait to share the magic that she's made with all of you. And so without further ado, you heard the little snaps snap open. This is the book that Martina made, and it's no ordinary journal. As you can see, it's a lap book, which flips out and has so many amazing compartments. The inside of the spine, it's really cool. You might have seen last week I published a video of my giant hoarder journal, so made up of all the materials I collected in the 4 years that I was in my apartment. This is the red and pink version of my all-time favorite trim, which is shades of turquoise and darker blue. So it's really cool to see a variation on something that I already have in a different color scheme, and it just looks so great with the rich reds that are in Martina's creation. So I'm going to go left to right, even though the book is so much fun and so full of possibilities that we could really go in any direction. So starting on the far left, I just love how she's put this together. Two ribbons open up this beautiful little butterfly adorned booklet, and she has the coolest tuck spot made from a fussy cut fan shape with the first of many journaling cards. And I'm blown away by how much sewing Martina has done in here. Sometimes I'll sew the fabrics to my cover, but I don't usually go that added layer of sewing pages within the journal. But I just think it's so much fun. I've never had a lap book before, but I love flipping papers open and seeing what's inside. Blue is my favorite color, so it's such a treat to flip the pages open and find so much blue. This pretty bookmark that she made. And this is a fun one too. It says art with all the collaging. So Martina, I'm curious. I'll ask her off camera also. I'd be so curious to know whether that collage art was something that she created herself and then made it into a print, or if that's from a printable. It's really cool looking. But yeah, I love how, so that was the first little folder, then that flips over and there's yet another layer, even just in that first little bit. It's such a treat to flip through. So much fun. A little mini botanical chart. One of my favorite things about junk journals is the possibility for secret tuck spots and finding different things that you're not expecting to find within a book. Another really pretty little bookmark, sort of a journaling card. And yeah, Martina has really gone above and beyond as far as creating pockets and tuck spots and secret places with hidden treasures, and all just in the most beautiful colors. These pinks and blues, Mona Lisa smiling there. And then if you've seen her videos before, which I highly recommend you watch them. I love Martina's flip throughs. One of the things that I recognize as her style that she kind of has throughout her videos are these sumptuous ruffles that she sews to the edges of her pages. So yeah, I love this. The first book after the flips on the left side. I just love seeing how she sews her ruffles. And then these beautiful journaling cards that look to me like really cool vintage labels. I just love these, almost like a cigar box label with the roses and the cute little village scene. And she's back that with some pretty embossed paper and some pretty packing paper. And even the Jacobean print on the page in the background is so my style. I just love it. Martina, you really nailed what I would find fun in a book. The peacock page. What's cool is the theme of the book I made for her is peacock theme. So it's kind of funny how we have a very similar first page for each other. Beautiful turquoise and gold. My favorite colors to see together. Lots of fun little tuck spots. Cool sort of tiles. Butterfly journal card. More of that really fun sewn trim. And this is super cute. She used a book page to hold a little packet of stamps. I just adore this. Cats are by far my favorite animal. I love them so much. I love that there's two of these. So Cat, if you're watching, I'm setting one aside and I'm keeping one for myself. So I'm definitely going to put one in a journal I'm working on for my friend Cat. But yeah, just absolutely beautiful little stamps in here. And I love the idea of putting them in a little package made out of the prettiest book page. That's a fun kind of rectangular graph paper. She's done some spray stenciling. Beautiful Chiogami paper for the center of the signature. Oh, that wasn't quite the center yet. Gorgeous envelope. I love these colors. That kind of dramatic indigo blue. And in here, she's put some book pages from a book from 1905. And I find it to be such a romantic picture. Like the Wanderer, it reminds me of the card Zero, the beginning and the ending of the journey of the major arcana in tarot, the Fool card. This could be that character out on his pilgrimage before he takes his first step into the unknown. All he's missing is a little companion animal at his feet. But the name Wanderlust, for a traveler like me who's kind of gone all over the world and lived in a lot of different places, that's the perfect title for a book. Love all the papers she's chosen too. More Chiogami paper. She's done some really cool collage work. Stunning mucha print. Really pretty paper. Lots of my favorite colors, the blues and the turquoises. Such pretty trims. Lots of this khadi paper. And this is really fun. So the center is a beautiful red and gold ribbon bow that opens up. So this little book lifts right out to be taken for journaling on the go. And she has just made every single inch of this book beautiful. So it doesn't look empty with this little signature taken out. It's just right. And I'm also very impressed by the fact that everything fits neatly together and it's not a struggle to snap it shut. I have kind of a habit of overfilling my journals, so there's always what gets called a gator mouth, but Martina has made this just perfectly fit. Look at this page, like a Persian carpet. Very pretty. So cool. Beautiful fabric flip. This really cool Persian looking design. Men on horseback. And a really fun peacock journaling card. Again, look at all the sewing. I'm not really pointing it out anymore, but every single place where she's trimmed the paper with lace or with a ruffle, it's all sewn on, which is just so remarkable to me, knowing how much time it takes to do those little details. This beautiful image with a Da Vinci picture, Da Vinci drawing. Again, stunning colors. I love the way Martina ties her books with ribbons. I've seen videos of hers where she's made just sumptuous journals with multiple signatures and each signature ties shut. Very, very cool. I love this old postcard. And again, I just love that paper. Such a treat to have this in my collection. And then the back of this, I guess, central part is this cool flip up sort of a folio in which Martina has put these beautiful big collaged tags. They're so cool. There's a lot of texture in this one with crumpled gilded papers and fun little bits of different colored floral designs. Just stunning. I love how that comes together. It brings me back to my art school days when we'd have to hand in assignments bound up in portfolios like this one. I'm thinking one day I'll do an art history themed journal, and that's how I'm thinking to bind it. And what's funny is that this sort of is an art history journal because Martina included the Mona Lisa image. So here we go. This is like a little journal. So Martina, you really spoiled me with, I think this is the 4th book I've gotten to inside this big, beautiful Lapbook package. So this book cover here, she told me it's an antique book cover, and the pages that were in the little envelope in the central signature were from this book. So very cool, and it flips open. I've seen Martina do little books like this on her channel, and I always love the way she does it, where there's kind of a double cover. And she's made a making of video for this lap book. So if you're as intrigued by her techniques as I am, I highly recommend you watch it. Look at that beautiful angel illustration. This would have gone beautifully in a book I made for Jean, a wonderful customer who ordered a very large book filled with angels and birds of happiness. So since this is from 1905, I believe, I'll make a print of that and send it to Jean. Such a cool picture. And then these are the inscription pages from the book to which this was the cover. Really cool. Inscribed to Anna, 1905. When my boyfriend Kenley saw this, he immediately saw the 1905 and said, "Score, you can make it into printables." So the guy's catching on. I love how she's put a tag in here. So beautiful. And I just love that image plate too with that street scene. As well as an art history journal, I'm also thinking of doing an architecture themed journal and filling it up with pages like that one. So yeah, what a treat it is to open a journal like this. I might be going a little bit quickly in this flip through video, and that's probably only because I've already spent many happy hours going through it page after page. It was the perfect treat to open up the day of my big move from my apartment to my boyfriend's house. So again, thank you, Martina, just perfect. So the inside cover of this page has such a pretty golden pocket holding these cool journal card, Carpe Diem, seize the day. And she mentioned in a letter that came with her beautiful lapbook that she put some pictures of historic jewelry in here, which is exactly my area of passion, as well as journals. I just love jewelry. So it's cool to see this emerald set. I've made many books with an emerald theme, so that feels like a very personal image to me. Gorgeous gilded trim. Beautiful little book plate. And this feels like some special kind of paper. It's perforated around the central circle with that castle. Very, very cool. I love that kind of thing, these vintage labels and unique ephemera pieces like that. Fun vellum printed page, some stenciled page. The cutest little teeny tiny golden journal card ever, held in place with a little pearl brad. Super cute. Little stamp. These Pegasus paper is so cool. I love mythical creatures, so when I saw this, I squealed with joy. It still makes me so happy to see it. I love Martina's channel, Magnolia Fairytale, because fairy tale things and mythical things are so inspirational to me. Very cool. Very pretty little peacock card. My favorite piece of jewelry that I saw in this book is actually this one right here. It's so cool. Look at that beautiful central stone. It looks maybe like an opal. Let's see. Yep, opal, tourmaline, moonstone, sapphire, citrine, and amethyst. Such a gorgeous piece. I love all of these colors. It's kind of like the bracelet stack I'm wearing, isn't it? Those are totally my favorite jewelry colors, and that really rich yellow gold. So, love that one. And I love that Martina included the little information about what it is, so I can look up the designer later. This is really fun. The center of this signature has kind of a hinged gate that opens up to reveal some birds of happiness and some really pretty Art Nouveau looking journal cards. So much fun. I love interactive elements like that in a journal. Another flip up to reveal a cool castle. A little beautiful journal card and another one of these mini pages. Little chandelier. Gorgeous things. That other side of that Pegasus paper, and then this beautiful cameo called the Drake Jewel. Looks like that's the front and the back. Really cool. Pretty, pretty blues. Another sweet peacock. We have a second signature in this little book. Beautiful flip up to reveal this lady holding her strand of pearls. Very cool. And then another beautiful journaling card in here with another of the book pages. Der Lindenbaum. So it's about a tree. I remember Baum is tree. So the linden tree, and that's as much as I can read of that poem, but really cool. I might ask my grandmom if she can translate it, because she was born in a Mennonite family, and so she speaks a little bit of German. Very, very pretty vellums. Look at that stunning Chiogami paper. Ooh, and the way we had the Pegasus last time, we have some stunning golden swan paper this time. Really beautiful. It's so much fun to flip through the pages of a junk journal made by another journal artist, because we each have our own different way of doing things, and we're drawing from different material stashes. Really pretty coffee-dyed paper. This little tiny envelope with a pretty ballerina and some little flowers. When I flipped through the journals made by my friend May from Saudi Arabia, and the beautiful paper doll book and journal made by Kat Stone, an artist from Phoenix, I get that same feeling. It's like you can take 5 different so-called junk journals from 5 different artists, and each one is like a whole different art form, because there's so many different interpretations and ways of doing things. I love this whole presentation. This piece of khadi paper with silver and gold, almost psychedelic looking circle motifs, and then it's holding this unbelievably sumptuous old necklace and earring set. Look at that gold work. Oh, when I see diamonds, I feel like diamonds are the most beautiful. And then when I see emeralds and rubies and sapphires, I feel like those are the most beautiful. Isn't it so cool how mesmerizing jewelry can be? I love the way Martina placed that piece in here. It gave it that special feeling that you get when you open a velvet jewelry box to reveal the precious contents. Love this merveille, which is French for wonderful. Such a cool stencil. The French word and the translation. C'est merveille. Another very pretty journaling card. Another cool mucha print holding the tiniest little embossed card tag. These are my mom's favorite garden flower, purple and blue hydrangeas with a little bit of pink. We had a lot of those in Vancouver, but the climate in my home province just isn't quite warm enough year-round. So the hydrangeas we get in our gardens are just different shades of light green. And so it feels so exotic and wonderful to see the purple and the blue hydrangeas. Purple, blue, and pink. Other side of that pretty vellum. So beautiful. Martina, you've spoiled me so much with all the gilded papers and unique materials and stenciling and sewing. You've just done so much. And not to mention, like, including these treasures of antique paper and antique prints, just some of my favorite things. I truly love this book. And the the fabric is just so cool. I love the look of old libraries and old studies, and as we're getting into autumn, we're more than midway into autumn now, I believe. It's the perfect weather to sit curled up with a good book, and so the fabric on this journal really reminds me of my favorite fall time activity. So what an absolute honor and treat it is to be the lucky recipient of this journal. I can't thank you enough, Martina. I hope you love the book that I've made for you half as much as I love this one. For everyone else watching, if you're wondering why I received Martina's book so quickly and it's taking longer for her to receive mine, it's just that she has gone on a special little vacation. And so I don't want to share too much of her personal details, but we decided I'd ship mine a little bit later so there's no risk of it getting held up in customs or sent back when she's not there to deal with it. But I can't wait for her to get mine and for you to see what I've made for her too. Meanwhile, I have just a little bit more show and tell. And so Kat Stone, whose art I've shared with you in a previous video, sent me another unbelievably generous Happy Mail, which included this little album. And I had to share these treasures before I start taking them out and using them and giving them as gifts. So she has made some really cool greeting cards out of prints of her original artwork, and they're just so much fun. When I was a kid, I was never really into playing with dolls, but I used to love the outfits. Like, I never really wanted to play Barbies and make the Barbie drive in her little Barbie car, but I would want to get all the different outfits for her and dress her up and see how she looks in all her different styles. I think a lot of us little girls who were more into fashion than playing house probably felt that way. And so Kat's paper dolls and her fantasy girls like these ones really satisfy some kind of a deep desire within me to have beautiful clothes and beautiful jewelry and look at those beautiful things. She also made a stunning wooden doll similar to her paper dolls that I'll share with you in a future video. I love this one. I saw this card and thought immediately, this is for my friend Nirvana. I have a friend Nirvana, she's really cool, from New York, and she makes waist beads from her tradition. Her traditional African background honors waist beads as a sacred feminine, divine feminine adornment. And she is so fit. She's in great shape. She's a gorgeous girl. I've seen pictures of her dressed in things that remind me of this. So I saw this and thought, oh my goodness, Kat painted Nirvana. Not quite that one. There's one coming up that I think is even more. This one. It's kind of a variation on that same girl. So Nirvana, if you're watching this, forget that you heard anything. I want you to be surprised when you get this in the mail. But I just love her. With her fancy scarf and her forehead jewelry, her hoops, her waist beads, these crazy cool bell bottoms. It's gorgeous. And it's neat to see that the variations really are each kind of different. Like the colors in her scarf are different in this one compared to this one. Really fun. This is one of those, I don't care who's looking at me, but I hope I look good for them poses. Just love the A-line shape here, flaring out at the waist, her gloves. These gloves remind me of Martina from Magnolia Fairytale, whose journal we just looked at, because in a lot of her videos, she's wearing just stunning fingerless gloves like that. This reminds me of that Beyonce video where she smashes up that truck. Love it. So over the top. Kind of like a ballerina outfit. And I love how she's casually kicking off one of her ballet slippers here. Super cute. This has my favorite thing, which is kind of a close-up illustration of her pendant on a different chain. I love it when jewelry is kind of the focal point of an outfit. So pretty. All the layers of faux fur, just gorgeous. The asymmetrical hemlines. Oh, anyway, so because I plan on sending one of these cards to a friend, this one right here, in this coming week, I just had to flip through the little booklet first before I take anything out to show you all of Kat's amazing, amazing designs. The last thing I want to share with you before we close the video for today. So last week when I shared my big giant hoarder's junk journal, I mentioned that I was turning some of the things inside it into printables and that I would demonstrate in my shop how they print out. And I couldn't do that because after my move, I had to re-download all the software for my printer before it would recognize my laptop. And I didn't know that, so I wasn't able to print these out until now, when I finally figured it out yesterday. So here we go. So the little Kuan Yin mini book that's from woodblock prints from the late Edo period, which means the late 1800s in Japan. They print out as 2 elongated strips per sheet. So like one like this and one like this. And then after trimming all the white around, they fold down the middle. And that way you get kind of blank pages on the inside and then printed material here and here. And it can be staple bound or kind of sewn shut with thread to be bound in sort of the traditional Japanese method. But this is how they look when they're printed out. This was printed on just a cheap inkjet printer on cheap white paper so that you see exactly how it would look. So keep in mind, this would look even more rich and beautiful if it was printed on something like mulberry paper or a satin finished beige paper or something, but I think it looks pretty good even just on cheap white paper. So that's the little Kuan Yin mini book. There's a set of postcards from Lourdes, France, and this is how they print out. So I printed this at, I think, 77% of the original size. If you print it full size, it will be pretty big, probably larger than the original. But I started cutting one out of the paper so I can kind of demonstrate on camera how they work. So if you cut it out, that can be recycled or coffee dyed. But yeah, so I've cut it out. See how there's the seam on the top, and then kind of upside down, there's the written part of the card. This is so that if you fold it corner to corner, you have the complete postcard. So you can glue this down, and it is exactly like the original. This is what was on the back. There's the postmark from 1908. There's the old address. There's the stamp, Lourdes. Really fun. So they each have that. They each have the original image and the original back. So I designed the printables in such a way that you can print just the front of the card or just the back of the card or the sheets where I've kind of oriented them for you so they can be kind of glued down as a full postcard. So the same way with the 3 pre-World War I even swastika cards. The best analogy I can give, or the best comparison I can give, is the way they used swastikas before they were stolen by Nazis and used as a symbol of hate. They would use the swastika very similarly to how we now use the symbol Om as a reminder of the universal vibration, the way we use the yin-yang as a symbol of feminine and masculine harmony. Similarly, the swastika was a symbol taken from Buddhism and Hinduism, just like the Om, just like the yin-yang, only it was corrupted by an evil group. However, to the people who originally had it, it still is a sacred symbol, and it represents the chakra, or the perpetual spinning motion of the universe, and it's a wonderful, positive symbol. So the reason I like to include things like these in journals is as a reminder that it still is a good symbol with positivity. It's about what you mean for it to be. And I choose to attribute it to its original use. Anyhow, the other set was a set of lithographs from the 1800s from German educational manuscripts. And I showed the originals in my big personal journal, but this is how the prints turn out. And again, this is just on cheap white paper using a cheap inkjet printer. And by cheap, I mean it was an $80 printer, 80 Canadian, so that's like 55 American dollars. So it's a pretty cheap printer. So you can imagine how the quality would be so stunning, as I did have these professionally scanned. Oops, that's one of my wallpaper prints. Not meant to be there. Anyway, you can imagine how beautiful they'd be if they were printed from a laser printer. This one is printed on sepia-toned linen paper, and so it does look a bit different, but still very sharp details. And I'm sorry I jiggled the camera. This is the French jewelry letter. Again, it came out quite crisp, even just with the inkjet printer. This is the French art school diploma. Really cool. This is one of the Kuan Yin printables printed full size. I included scans of each of the pages that can be printed out as wall art like this or as full page images like this, and I love how that turned out too. See all the sacred symbols Kuan Yin is holding? Just beautiful art. And I love how her crown is made up of all kinds of tiny little faces. I would love to learn the symbology of what those faces all represent. Are they her past incarnations? Are they devotees? Are they aspects of herself? Very cool. This is one of the lithographs of Japanese art. I just love this girl studying at her floor desk with her calligraphy things out and her friend reading some manuscripts. Really cool. Little bedroom scene. I didn't print all of them, but I thought this would give kind of a good example of how they look. Gemstone art, so carved stone like lapis lazuli bowls, jade presentation cups. This quartz crystal chalice I think is my favorite. And then this one got a little bit torn, but still a beautiful print of these antique ornaments. So there we go. Those are my newest printable kits in my shop, and I'll put the link to my shop, of course, in the video description where you can find these printables. And I'll also put a link to both Kat Stone's YouTube channel so you can see more of her magical art, as well as Martina's channel, Magnolia Fairytale. I adore her journals. I adore her. Thank you again, Martina, from the bottom of my heart. I love this book so, 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 so much. Last thing I'm gonna say before I end the video, there was a book Martina made with a wraparound book cover very recently that was made out of vintage doilies, and it had this exact same trim making up the closure. And I thought to myself, that is the most beautiful trim ever, and I would love it if she uses some of that in the swap journal for me. But I didn't tell her that, and I didn't ask her to, because I thought I don't want to put her on the spot in case that was the only piece she had of this trim. But how lucky am I that she used my favorite trim for the closure of this most gorgeous lap book ever, ever, ever. So yeah, thank you again, Martina. Thank you again, Kat. I am so overjoyed and excited to work with the new things you sent me. Thank you to all of you who stuck with me throughout this video, and to everyone who's going to be playing with these new printable kits. Tag me on Instagram or on YouTube if you make anything with my printables. I'd love to see what other crafters craft. I'll put my Instagram and all that in the description too. But anyway, so much love to you. We'll see you next Saturday with another junk journal flip through video. Hopefully one that I've made next time. And I say that only because it's been busy, my friend. It's been busy with my move, but I think I'll have a book ready to share next week. And if I don't, I'll share something. Don't worry. I'll try to keep the content flowing. And so much love to you. Thank you again for watching. Bye for now. And happy vegan Thanksgiving to my Canadian friends. I'm off for tofurkey with the family. Much love. Bye-bye.